Hello, I'm Catherine Walter, and I'm the Linacre College Welfare and Equalities Officer. As a part of that job, I look after students who have disabilities. So, what is a disability? Often, when people think about this question, they situate the disability as something inside the person. But I like to think of it in a different way. We have what we call the social model of disability. Imagine for a moment that in order to get into the Linacre dining hall, you had to crawl through a hole. And that hole was 2 meters off the floor. And it only measured 1 meter wide and 1 meter high. Many of the staff, many of the fellows of Linacre couldn't get into the dining hall. Would that mean that they were disabled? Yes, in a way. It would mean that the environment was organized in a way that disabled them. In a diverse society, this can happen, where different people have different capacities and different needs. The environment can be organized so that it is more or less friendly to the different groups of people. One of our aims here is to try and make sure that as few people as possible are disabled by our environment. Another way of thinking about disability, and one that is important, is that it has a legal definition in the United Kingdom. So, what is a disability legally? It is a physical or mental impairment that has a substantial long-term adverse effect on someone's ability to perform normal day-to-day activities. Let's break that definition down a bit. Substantial is pretty obvious. It has to be an effect that's noticeable. Long-term means that the disability has to have lasted for a year, or be likely to last for a year, or to recur again and again over a year. Day-to-day activities are things like preparing a meal for yourself, walking upstairs, reading a book, going shopping. The University of Oxford and Linacre College are obliged to provide all reasonable adjustments to help you perform day-to-day activities in spite of your disability. Now, reasonable means just that. We're not required to go to extraordinary lengths. For example, if you needed a room that was absolutely soundproofed, and Linacre didn't have a room that was soundproofed, and we couldn't prepare a room to be perfectly soundproofed without enormous expense, then that would not be a reasonable adjustment. But on the whole, we're able to make most of the adjustments that people require, and you might actually be pleasantly surprised at some of the adjustments that are offered to you. So what do you do? What's the process? The college serves as a liaison, if you want, between you and the Disability Advice Service. If you have a disability, it's very important that you fill out the form on the Disability Advice Service website. When you fill the form out, you'll be called in for an interview with a skilled advisor who will go over in detail with you just how your disability works and what kind of adjustments might be able to be made for it. She or he will then communicate to the college and to your department just what needs to be done. However, no one will be told anything about your disability without your permission. You can decide who knows. But it's best, if you can, to make sure that you give permission that anyone who needs to know can know. I would ask you to please disclose any disabilities early Some of you have disclosed on your application forms. Some of you may have been hesitant to do so. Now, I can understand this. I myself have an unseen disability that means that sometimes I get very ill and unable to work, and I can't always predict when it's going to happen. I have at times hesitated to reveal this to an employer for fear that they might think I wasn't a good employee or couldn't be counted on. But believe me, it really is better to disclose early, because then we can put measures in place to help you. If you wait until there's an emergency, say 2 days before an examination, you realize that actually you need more time in that examination because of your disability, it may be difficult for us to get that for you. We'll try our best. But the earlier you can disclose a disability, the more chance you give us of supporting you. Please don't hesitate if you have any questions about the process, about disabilities, about any of this, to come and talk to us. We want you to do your best. Everybody here is on your side. Please give us a chance to support you if support is needed. We want you to have the best possible experience at Linacre. I wish you a great academic year and a great degree.